Everyone, welcome to this week's Piggyback blog webinar. Today we're going to cover how to make your posts look great with the basic formatting tools that are given to you through your WordPress platform. Now, Piggyback blogs is WordPress, just so there is no confusion here. And if you have been attending these webinars, you should know me by now. My name is Tracy, and I am the Success Coordinator here at Brandco. I do a lot of our blogging, our inbound marketing, and I assist with multiple things as far as the Piggyback blog is concerned. So if you ever have any questions, I am your go-to girl. So our agenda today is going to cover specific things to make your blog posts look better and to make them easier to read. Things like content formatting, adding photos and galleries, which would be adding more than just one photo so that they group and they look nice together. Inserting video into your blog posts and how they all can be put together to make a really nice looking blog post and or page. So we can get this started by going over some content formatting. Now, I do see and read a lot of the blog posts that do get put up on Piggyback blog, and one of the biggest problems I would have to say is a thing called white space. When it comes to writing blog posts or writing content for blog pages, white space is your best friend, mostly because people have a short attention span when it comes to the internet. We can thank the world of technology for that. When the paragraphs are shorter, they seem easier to read, so they're more likely to read them. And on top of that, a large majority of people that are doing most of internet searches and reading these days are coming from their cell phones. So if a paragraph looks far too lengthy on your cell phone, you're much more likely to lose them. Now, your blog is not an area for you to be writing essays. It's an area for you to start communicating with your clients. So by using paragraphs that maybe have around 3 to 4 maximum sentences in them, you're going to get that white spacing in between your paragraphs to give eyes a break and to keep your readers going. For an example, you have 2 blog posts here. The exact same blog posts. I've written them. If you watched the webinars, I wrote these sometime last year. Now, the original one, the before, that's going to be on the left-hand side, and you can tell that there's not a lot of white space in between it because my paragraphs are quite long. When people get to that big, long area that talks about how it's livable, walkable, and the best of all 3 miles from downtown Orlando, Florida, that whole paragraph is quite long and lengthy. If you look at it to the right-hand side, what we've done is we've broken that paragraph up into multiple areas so that it's very segmented. If they want to know more specifically about the dog park or the distance from downtown Orlando or specific, demographic information, it's all segregated into separate paragraphs. So it makes it a lot easier to read and a lot easier for the eyes to take in. It just looks altogether much better. Now, one big way to utilize content formatting to break things up is to use something called headers. Now, inside of your Piggyback blog, there is a hidden area that allows you to choose different header fonts. Now, in difference, you usually can use headers such as heading 1, heading 2, heading 3, heading 4, heading 5, heading 6, and then paragraph is pretty much how your text will normally show up on your website if you haven't selected for it to be a heading. Using headings will allow for you to give titles to specific areas. So if you're covering something in a blog post that's about the 5 different ways to make your home ready to sell, then those 5 different sections, you could use a header at each one of them so that someone that's just looking really quickly to find the information that they're looking for can find it easier because they'll see that, headers display importance. And inside of the blog post area, you also have additional content formatting options. Of course, we're all familiar with a lot of this information because we utilize Word and things like that. So we should be familiar with a lot of the things that are here. So bolding any of your text, as well as, if you use a header, usually that has also gotten some bolding to it as well. Um, Bolding your text will draw in your eyes. So if there's a specific area in your content that you're wanting to draw attention to, bolding that information will definitely be a big help. Italicizing would be for emphasis. So if you're trying to show some kind of emphasis in this in your content, italicizing it will help. You have the option to be able to strike through text. You have the ability to make two different kinds of lists. You can use a bulleted list or a numbered list. And these are really nice to use because it will allow your user to know that they're getting a specific list of information. And utilizing that just helps your user out in every way that you can. This is what you call a quote block. And what that'll usually do is it'll indent or separate the text from your regular content to show that you are quoting information that you've gotten from another location. A horizontal line is utilized for separating your text. You may have seen me use it in the past with creating like an About Me page or an About the Team page to utilize that horizontal line in between each person's bio and their photos and information so that there's a very clear distinction, like this is the end of that person's info, this is the beginning of this person's. Alignments. Alignments are utilized to align your text, essentially. There's alignments also that come into play when you're using photos as well, and we'll get to that a little bit later. Underlining specific text will draw attention to it. Justifying your text does something completely different than most people would normally think of. It looks very much like your alignment button, but what it does is it evenly spaces out all of your text so that everything bumps up against your left and your right margins. So things could be a little bit further apart in some areas than others, and that's usually, if that's just an aesthetic kind of thing that some people would prefer to have rather than having the hanging lines on the left or on the right whenever you're using those alignments. You can change the colors of your text. This is one of my favorite guys ever. Here, this button is called Paste as Plain Text. And what it does is if you're copying and pasting something from another website or your e-agency website over to your piggyback blog, it's keeping you from bringing over any of that funky code that could have been in place on the other side. And you don't want to bring that over because your piggyback blog has specific coding in place to showcase like how font is specifically supposed to be displayed on your website, meaning headers versus paragraph fonts and so on, so that everything looks consistent, which is what you want. And you have the clear formatting, which if you didn't use the little clipboard with a T on it, then you're able to go through and just clear out any of those strange formatting that you brought with you by like highlighting the content and then clicking the little eraser button, and it's going to remove the formatting that you brought in. The special characters button here, this will bring in special characters like the registered trademark or the copyright symbol if you ever want to use it. I know that some people know how to use the Alt tab and the number keypad, but this is a quick, easy way to get to that. And then you have your increasing and decreasing indents. Most of the time I won't use that. A lot of people that are reading content on the internet these days are fully aware that your first line of your paragraphs aren't usually going to be indented like we used to do back whenever we were all writing papers for college and high school. So let's dive into image formatting. Image formatting is something that I get a lot of questions about because it's very important to have imagery in your blog post. Visuals are key when it comes to making blog posts, blog pages. don't always try to describe everything by text. Um, People enjoy seeing photos in the content that bring your content to life. So let me pull this over to our demonstration. So let's go over here. I have a bunch of text already in place so that we can see how the photos that we're putting in place play with that text. So everybody here should know that in order to input photos into your blog post, you would click Add Media, and you'd be able to select the photo in here. If you do not have photos yet or you need to upload a photo, you click Upload Files and click Select Files, and you'll be able to look through your computer just like any time that you are ready to upload a photo to Facebook or Twitter or anything like that that we're all used to doing. So we have some photos in here already, so I'm going to go ahead and click Media Library. And I'm going to grab this house photo here. The section that I'm bringing attention to here would be the alignment of these photos. So you can tell here that there's a drop down that's for left, center, right, and none when it comes to the different kinds of alignment for your photos. If you are aligning your image to the left, your text is going to wrap to the right. You can see here how with your photo to the left, your content bumps up to the side of it on the right. Now, in our preview area here, it does look as if it's like right up against it, but if you go ahead and save this post, you'll notice that it's got some space around it. It's just not shown inside this area. Now, this is kind of like one of my favorite things to do with blog posts is to input specific photos within my content. So it's like I'm talking about one specific thing, so I'm going to put that photo right beside it. So it's like whenever you used to have textbooks or if you're learning anything in a regular book, they try to make sure that your accompanying visual is there with your content. So indifferent to the left align, you have the right align. If you ever have a photo in here and you want to change how it's displaying or anything like that, you can click on the photo and click on the little pencil tool here to be able to edit it. If we change this to center, what's going to happen is that the text is going to drop below it. Centering a photo does not wrap text on either side of it. It requires the text to be above it or below it. If we grab this again and do a right text and right alignment, it does the exact opposite of what left alignment does. It will wrap the text around the left-hand side and sit the photo to the right. And the last one, which is kind of a mystery to some people, is the none. None alignment kind of does something that I'm used to seeing in Microsoft Office, in Word, where you put in a photo, it's in line with your text, and your text will line up alongside the bottom of the photo, which I'm not a big fan of. I usually never use the none alignment in any way, shape, or form. I'm a big fan of left and right. If I'm calling major attention to something, then I'll usually do the center so that it gets kind of like, whoa, this is really important when it comes to that kind of photo. In difference to that, when using more than one photo galleries is the way to go. And there are a lot of different kinds of photo galleries, as well as the ones that are automatically available for you inside of WordPress. Now, I've seen people do multiple photos in a row by way of doing the multiple photos in left alignment, so they'll all bump up beside each other, or multiple photos in none alignment. However, I do think that whenever you put them all together in an actual gallery and they're displayed that way, I do think they're a little bit more professional looking. So let's go back to our demo, and let's get rid of this photo here, and we're going to add in a photo gallery in between our two paragraphs. I click Add Media, and then there's a button here to the side that says Create Gallery. So creating the gallery will allow us to go in and click multiple photos. So if we want to include all these home photos all in one gallery, let's do 4, we would click to create the new gallery. From there, we can add in our captions for each of these photos to show, like what we were trying to show in that gallery specifically in that photo. And then your options for your gallery are over to the side. Now, there are a couple of options over here that you're not going to have by default. And they're made available through a plugin called Jetpack. And I know you've heard me talk about Jetpack a lot, and I will talk about it a lot more in the next coming weeks. But this gives us a lot of different options. If we did the standard, which is the thumbnail grid, thumbnail grid is our standard, then it's going to automatically just display the photos in a very small variation. So we click preview so we can take a look at this. And this is how that thumbnail preview displays. It's not the most attractive way to go about it. That's why I do prefer things like the tiled mosaic. And let's preview that and see the difference in that. And that is made available through the through the Jetpack plugin. And what that does is it looks and sees whether or not the photo is more vertical or horizontal, and tries to put them all together in a nice tiled mosaic. And when you use these and you mouse over them, you'll be able to see the captions that were there instead of them being always displayed as well. Another type of gallery is square tiles, and what that'll do is obviously display the photos as squares. Now, if you're using different kind of photos that are different sizes and such, that will cut the photos off. Now, sometimes it's not bad if you're just trying to display like a little bit of this and that, but if you're wanting your photos to be like on display, then it's going to be a little bit difficult. Circles is another fun one, but like the original, just like the one we just looked at, it will clip the photos around the edges. So you have to be careful if that's something you don't want to happen. These are not the photo galleries that you're going to want to use. So the last one is a big one for a lot of people because everyone loves slideshows. So with this slideshow, you're able to see all the photos, and they'll come through in order. And with any of these, you can select that you want them to be in a random order or in a specific order. So be aware of that when you're making the edit options inside of the gallery. If you have your numerous photos in your gallery and you decide that you want to add more, you can click Add to Gallery. If you want to remove any of them, all you have to do is hover over them and click the X, and you can remove that photo from your gallery. If you wanted to add another, just click on it and then click Add to Gallery again. And like I said earlier, you can change it to a random order versus the order that you have it in here. If you want to change the order and have it display in a specific way, you can drag and drop any of these images into an order that you would like for them to show. And lastly, if you're wanting them to link, like as in your user or your viewer is on your blog post and they click on one of these photos, you can decide where you want them to be able to go. You can make the photos not clickable. You can make them go to the media file, or you can make them go to the attachment page. The difference between a media file and attachment page is that a media file, if you click on it, it will take you to just the image. Like whenever you click on Google Images and you click to view the image. Attachment page will show you the photo inside of the website, meaning the header and footer of the website will still be there and it still looks like it's yours kind of thing. Or you can just say none. Another big one as far as making edits to a website so that it shows specific information and makes it look good would be to add video. Video is extremely hot these days, and more and more people are adding it in and utilizing it. So if you're going to make use of video in your blog post, know that you're going to need to add content. Do not go in and write a blog post and well, not even write a blog post, just make a blog post and put a video link into it. Pretend like Google doesn't have the ability to read or to watch video or to look at your photos. It's taking specific content clues around that entire page to know whether or not to know anything about that video or that photo. So when adding a video, I've mentioned it before to a lot of our clients and probably a lot of you that are in this webinar, to go ahead and just describe the video through your blog post as if the person that was watching it or wanting to know about it didn't have headphones and they needed to find the information out while they were at work. So give kind of the Cliff Notes version of it. Make it quick and easy for people to read through, and you're doing that not just for your viewer, but for your search engine optimization so that Google knows what in the world that video is about. So let's take a look and show how to put in a video from YouTube into a blog post. So if you're on YouTube, it's really easy to find how to post a video. Let me just pick something random. And I'm just going to use this random video I found. All right, so at the top in the URL area, if you're on Safari like my demo is right now, you have to click on the area that shows youtube.com so you can see the full URL. Your URL needs to be contained, that needs to contain youtube.com for it to properly work inside of WordPress. At that time, once you have the URL, you just want to copy it, the full URL, go to your blog post. Let's get that gallery out of the way so we can use it. And we're going to enter down and click paste. Now it looks like it's just text in here, but WordPress knows that that is a YouTube video and will display it for us. And yet, sometimes there's these quirks that cause for it not to work, which is great. I wanted this to happen so that we could show, I could show how I fix this when a client mentions this to me. So in the text area, it looks proper, but if you look under text, it displays the code side of things. So if you click on that and there's anything around our code that our URL that we brought in from YouTube, that's what's causing it not to work. So if you get rid of it, actually, let's see if that eraser button would get rid of it for us. And click text. It does. That's the easiest way I can tell you to get rid of it and make it work in the future. So you highlight your URL and click your little erase button, and you should have a working video then on your blog post. Ta-da! Yay, I'm glad I figured that out today. I think that's awesome. If you're using something outside of YouTube, it's a little bit more intensive. My thing is always upload to YouTube. YouTube is one of the most popular video viewing social media networks on the internet. Now, people will be able to watch your video on YouTube as well as on your website, which to me sounds as if you're going to have twice the traffic, right? Now, on the other hand, people are able to watch your video on YouTube and may not have to go to the website, but at least you're getting that information out and people are finding you, okay? So I do say that adding video is very important. I don't suggest going in and trying to upload your video to your WordPress. It's going to be too large for the upload limit. Vimeo or other websites such as that do require that you use an embed code, and sometimes that will be difficult. So let's try something from Vimeo real quick. Yeah, we'll do this one. I have no idea what it is, but we want to embed it if it'll let us. Add to watch, like, it's not going to let me embed it. Well, YouTube will let us use an embed code, and usually you have to do the share button here, and then click the button here that says embed. And it'll go ahead and give you the code that you need to put into place, and you'll already have it highlighted so it's quick and easy for you to add to your clipboard. Using code like that, though, you have to click on the text button and input it that way. And it will show iframe at the beginning and at the ending. And what that's doing is it's kind of creating a hole in this blog post that shows that YouTube video on the other side. So I'm going to remove the original one so that we can tell the difference. And let's preview it. And it displays just the same way. So obviously the original way is a little bit easier because you're not having to go over to the text side. It's not technically code at that point, but that would be the same kind of thing if you were doing a Vimeo video rather than a YouTube video. Okay, so now I'm going to open the floor for questions. If anyone has any additional questions, go ahead and shoot them to me now. I have a couple that have been waiting on me, so I'm going to get to those. All right, Leslie was asking, where is the text format and size button? Okay, so I didn't show you the button that you're going to need to utilize in order to do the headers that I mentioned earlier. Now, let me just separate a couple of pieces of content so that I can show you how to do that. Right here, we're going to make this a header. Whoa, we're going to make this a header for our text. I don't know what is happening with my mouse right now. Okay, we're just going to do a header for this. Right here is the button that you would use for creating a header out of your paragraph text that's already there. This drop down has all your headings. So heading 1 is usually what your title displays at. Heading 2 is usually the second most important thing in the entire website or the blog page. So you can see how when I clicked it, it did everything that was within the paragraph. So that's why when I was separating this here, it was automatically allowing us to just make a header out of that one section. See, in difference? That's what's happening when something weird like that happens, and you just need to make it a paragraph again and separate it. And what I like to do on any of my websites, I like to create a blog post and just write the words heading 1, heading 2, heading 3, heading 4, heading 5, heading 6, and then make each of those pieces of text that heading so that I can use it as a comparison as far as like, all right, okay, now I understand what all of these do. And that's just kind of how I do things, and that's how I've learned this information. But as far as the text format and size button, that would be it. If you do not see this second row of options on your toolbar, you just have to click the button here that says Toolbar Toggle, and it will make it visible for you. Thank you for the question, Leslie. And Angela So asked how to get to the Edit Gallery again. Edit Gallery is a lot like how we regularly would edit a photo. So let me just create a quick gallery and put it in place and insert it. If you click on the photo, like when you need to edit a single photo, it does the same thing with the gallery. So you just click on there and it takes you to your photo options that are within the gallery. Thanks, Angela. Carla asked, do we need approval to use a YouTube video just like photos from sources? No, you do not need to usually use approval for YouTube videos because what's happening with that is it's always linking back to that YouTube location. So it's not like you're just taking the video and putting it on your website like some people will do with Google Images. You're not trying to claim ownership of the video. You're just essentially sharing it for them, and most of the time they'll be happy that more people are watching their video. Um, Patrick asked if Jetpack is an additional cost, and it is not. Jetpack is a free addition, and it's located under your plugins area inside of your Piggyback blog. So let me save this draft, and we can go inside there real quick. Mine's already activated, so you can see it up here. It's already properly connected. So if I go under plugins, you can see that there's a section here called Jetpack. They're all in alphabetic order, and you can click to activate it. And inside of there, it's going to ask you to connect with WordPress.com, and that's a separate set of logins than the ones that you already utilize for your Piggyback blog. So if you don't remember ever using WordPress.com, then go ahead and connect with it and create an account with WordPress.com, and then you'll be able to get all this fun stuff. Now, these are the features and things like that that may become available when you activate Jetpack. So there's a lot of fun stuff inside here, and I have a full webinar planned for just Jetpack, and I've had a couple in the past as well. I can link you up to those videos as Patrick, so you can watch them, okay? How do you align video URLs? Actually, you can't align video URLs. Video URLs displayed this specific way. I don't believe they have the option to align them in any way, shape, or form because no code can actually be around them. So that's a bit of a downer, but that's just the way it goes. I believe if you do an embed, you could probably have a little bit more control over it. And Leslie asked if there were no choices for font. Actually, there aren't. And the reason for that is because a website is a cohesive piece, meaning if it's a certain way on your home page, it should be that way throughout your entire website. So you shouldn't have to select a specific font because all the fonts that your design or your brand utilizes should already be in place according to your design that's in place. So there aren't any font choices. Someone asked, do you know the code that needs to be added to the end of the YouTube so that the end of the video, the viewer is not taken to other YouTube video options once the targeted video is watched? Actually, Ralph, I have in my notes that that's something that I'm needing to research for someone, I believe possibly even you. And I haven't the opportunity to do that yet, but I promise I will have it done for you. I've never utilized that code myself. I'll look around and see what I can find. If I do find something that's useful that you can add to the end of your videos, then I'll send it out to you because I definitely want you to have everything that you need in order to get your website the way that you want it. All right, so do we have any other additional questions? All right, it looks like we are probably completed for today, and I hope that utilizing these options and knowing a bit more about how to easily format the content, adding photos and adding video into your blog posts makes a big difference to how your content looks and how the viewership goes and traffic on your website. You know, go back, explore old blog posts and see how you can better them and make them look better without changing the URLs of those websites, of those blog posts or those blog pages. Because then at that point you've got broken links inside of the search engines. So just going back and changing the content though can have an improvement on the score of that website. As always, thank you for attending and happy blogging. If you ever have any questions or comments, you can feel free to click the black circle with a question mark in the middle inside of your Piggyback blog. You can send me an email or schedule an appointment with me at calendly.com, beatco_Tracy. And I'll see you again next week for our webinar on marketing through social media. At that point, we'll also be discussing the Jetpack plugin. So I'll be sending out reminder to that as well. Right. Have a great day.